Hello everyone, I'm here with Joe Kelly, one of Charlestown hockey's pioneers. And Joe, can you tell us about the early days of hockey in Charlestown, where you skated at first?
We all skated down the Oily, the Barry Playground, who, by the way, was the father of the American Navy, not John Paul Jones. And it was named after John Barry, the Barry Playground, which we nicknamed it the Oily. And we were skating down there when we were 13 years old, and then went up to the Sullivan Square, the Neck, they called it the Neck.
Yeah.
And the Boston firemen, we really appreciated them days when they flood the park with their hoses so we could skate and play hockey in each park.
Why is the Oily called the Oily? Glendale Oil?
Well, no,
The water?
I would say the ocean liners that went through were oil tankers, the ships. And naturally you had oil that leaked from the tankers, and that's the way I was told that the nickname was named after the oil tankers that leaked.
And you skated at the North Shore Sports Center?
On Boston Street.
Tell us about that,
Sure.
please.
We had a league there. It was on Boston Street in Lynn, down from St. Mary's of
Keep
Lynn.
it down over there.
St. Mary's of Lynn.
It's all right.
It was down from St. Mary's of Lynn, and who had great baseball teams in the old days.
So how did you get there? You
We
mentioned
got-
someone's
Well,
39 Cadillac?
We had a fella whose father owned the 39. The year of the Cadillac was a 1939, who, by the way, in them old days had a shade in the back that you could pull down to eliminate the sun from shining in.
Who was the guy that drove the... How'd you get there?
Les Garthia, when the father went to sleep, Les would get the keys and drive us down, and Les Garthia played with us. Les was a great athlete, a good hockey player.
Did you graduate with him in 1951?
No, Les Garthia graduated in 1950,
Okay.
along with Dan Canny, who later became the trainer for the Boston Bruins.
And his name's on Hockey Stanley Cup twice?
Oh, definitely. Yep.
And Dan Canny played goalie for the Charlestown
Charlestown
High
High, and for the semi-pro team we had in Lynn, and at the skating club in Alston, we also skated in the same league.
School. And that was Western Ave, the Boston
Western
Skating
Ave,
Club.
the Boston Club. Yep.
And there were only 4 ice surfaces back then you could skate upon.
That was it. That
You
was
had
it.
Lynn, Brighton,
That was
and the arena.
the arena in the garden, and
If you
another
made the
league we
garden.
played in, the Boston Garden. Yep.
Now, in 1956, you played in the North Shore Sports Center, the Lynn League.
That's right.
And who was your teammates then?
Teammates with Dan Canny was Les Garthia, Joe Dougherty, God rest his soul. Joe passed away very young. Billy Dougherty, who both of them were my cousins. Billy passed away early in life too. And Charlie O'Donnell, Chucky O'Donnell, and
Billy played?
Chucky played. Billy was too young to play then. His brother Billy,
Right.
who, by the way, was a great hockey player. Billy, who played on the state, they won the state championship, I think he said in 1961. They beat Winchester
Okay.
in triple overtime.
Really?
Yep.
When did you skate with Joe Anthony and Rockhead Farrell? Tell us a story about the string around Rockhead Farrell's toe.
Tommy Farrell, Rockhead Farrell, used to skate with us down the Oily, and he used to put a string on his toe and connect it to a little bowl of water to signify how the ice, the cold ice, if it was frozen, we knew we had ice down the Oily.
Really?
Yeah, that's a true story. And Rocket.
I thought it was when you went and got him in the middle of the night, you pulled the string on his toe.
To let us know how the ice.
Really?
He had a ball of ice on the project
So,
windowsill,
yeah.
and that would know we could in the morning would have ice down there to skate on.
And you skated, you were captain of the 1951 Charlestown High School.
1951, I had the privilege of being a captain of Charlestown High, and in the year previous, Dan Canny, the trainer for the Bruins, was the captain of Charlestown High.
While he played goalie?
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
He was a goaltender for us, and a great goaltender, Dan Canny.
And who were the teams you played for against in high school?
Oh, we played against Southie, Rosendale, let me see, High Park, Brandeis High School. That used to be over by the Metropolitan Theater.
Okay.
Brandeis, and Jamaica Plain High School, and
Were you all in one league?
all in one league, yeah.
Now, the only way you got to skate at the Garden is when? The tournament?
I played for a team at the Garden that Danny Canny played for. It was a semi-pro league, and I think they come out of Jamaica Plain. They asked Dan and I if we'd play for them. You know?
Now, growing up, and you've seen a lot of changes in Charlestown,
Yeah.
not just recently, but
Yeah.
I mean over the years. You stated as well as I concurred that we sent more men, Charlestown sent more men to professional hockey
Great hockey
than
players.
any other town its size in the country.
Definitely. Great athletes. Yeah. You had the Veezies, Jimmy Veezy. You had, who's this kid now? Gretschlick?
Yeah, Grizzly, yeah.
Grislick, he's a great hockey player, great defenseman for the Bruins.
What about in the 60s?
Huh?
What about, tell us about Father Robert Smith.
Father Robert Smith was a great guy. He gave up a lot of time for the young kids in Charlestown, along with Johnny Kelly's father, Pat Kelly. In fact, Johnny's father called me up one day and he says, "Joe, do you still skate?" I says, "No, not that much." He said, what size foot have you got?" I says, "A 10. Geez, I get the same thing. He says, "I need a pair of skates." I said, "They're yours." And the uniform I had that I played semi-pro with, that's yours too if you want it.
And so the early days of Father Smith were down Revere, the two rinks
They
at
were
Cronin Revere.
yes, they were a younger group, and I'm trying to think the year that the Emmons, what was his name, Horrigan, and
Oregon and Emmons.
yeah, the Emmons, and there was another
At
name.
65 or 66?
I think it was in the '60s, yeah.
Now, in the 60s, what you had? The Tibbitzes, the O'Neills, and Fiddlers,
Oh, the Fiddlers and everything, yeah, they were all great, yeah,
and Richie Hart.
all tremendous hockey players,
Right, and they went on to college and professional
and
hockey.
became professional hockey players. Yeah.
And it's all the hotbed of hockey is Charlestown.
Definitely.
And it continues to this day.
They produce so many great athletes. I know hockey, but even in baseball, you had the Chevaliers and different guys. Chucky Chevalier was a great basketball player, a great baseball player, and a great athlete.
Right. He graduated in 1956.
Is that when he graduated?
I think so.
Yeah.
All right, I just want to thank you for this interview. And
It's
your
a
cousin
privilege.
Johnny Kelly runs a league now for kids that don't have much money. Can you
Yeah,
tell us a
he
little
does.
about that?
Yeah, he does fabulous. Johnny Kelly. Great guy.
He puts kids on the ice that don't have the big money
That's
that
right.
a lot of families have to.
And the right out of the project, he's helped him all his life.
Yeah,
Johnny,
right.
you know?
Well, this has been a great interview with the pioneer of hockey,
Thank
Joe
you.
Kelly.
I
and,
appreciate it. It's,
and also in your book, God Rest His Soul, your nephew Mark,
yeah. Marky Babers.
he lived with you on
Marky
lived on
and
Breed
Mike
Street.
played for Catholic Memorial in West Roxbury. And then they went on to BU with a scholarship. They were great hockey players. And the saddest part is we lost Mark in the 9/11, the second plane out of Logan, United Airlines, the second plane out of Logan that hit the World Trade Center in New York.
Well, they're never forgotten, and he won't be forgotten in my book,
Beautiful.
Charlestown, Hockey Town, America.
Liza Tibley.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Bob.